What's going on, y'all? 75Junction, it's your boy Sherm. I'm here with a very special guest today. Today we got Tim in the building. What's going on, brother? How you feeling?
I'm good, man. How you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I can't complain. I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity to sit down and interview with you, man.
Oh,
So,
already.
for those who don't know you, man, can you tell us who you are and what you do?
Yeah, my name's Tim,
Mm-hmm.
owner of Neptune Painting, contractor painter. Go around brightening up lives throughout Hampton Roads, one house at a time.
Okay, word. And how long you been doing that for?
We've been in business since June 2017.
June 2017. Okay, so you got some years in the game, about three
Yeah,
years
coming on 3 years.
Yep.
I've been painting before then, here, there.
Mm-hmm.
Decided to take it serious and go the entrepreneur route.
Okay, that's good, man. That you decided to take matters in your own hands as far as your future and your business is concerned and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what was your moment that made you decide to become an entrepreneur and do that yourself?
I was tired of working for somebody else. Times it just wasn't for me. In all honesty, I was actually working at Ruth Chris. I had just started a job as a dishwasher at Ruth Chris,
Mm-hmm.
and I really wasn't feeling it. And then somebody I was cool with at the time just came up and was like, "Yeah, we about to start doing this." And I was just like, "You know what? I do paint. You know what? I do that." He wasn't too serious about it though. I could tell he wasn't. So
Right.
that's where I started, just took the ball and started rolling with it.
Okay, so you saw, so it kind of, he was the catalyst in a sense to you making that decision, because you were like, okay, well, yeah, that's not a bad idea. And then you were like, all right, well, I see he's not really serious about it, but there's something here, so I'm gonna go ahead and just roll with it and take it in my own hands.
Yeah, just kind of jumped out the window with it. I had about $600 to my pocket, quit my job. I was just like, I'm gone. The manager at the time, he didn't like it too much. Whatever. But after that, it was just like, this is what I'm trying to do. Because I see bigger visions for myself than standing washing dishes or being a prep line or working at Walmart. Because that's what I was doing before I went to that.
Mm.
So it was just, time for a change.
I got you. Now, you said you've been painting before, so what got you into painting? And when you say painting, you talking like houses, cabinets and stuff like that, or?
Yeah, back when I was younger, my mom and my grandma used to have me painting around the house. Didn't know what I was doing at all. Probably if I would look back then, I would be like, "Oh, what is you doing?" But that's kind of where it started up, and then I went at a time where I was unemployed when I was like 21, so about 7 years ago. My grandma actually sent me a Craigslist link of somebody looking for a helper.
Okay.
So that's where I started at, and I was working for that company for about 6-8 months, something like that. It didn't really work out, so from that time I was doing little odds, ends, you know what I'm saying? So,
right.
And then, hey, it just came together.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
You always like it when a plan come together.
Right. Okay. Word.
Yeah.
I got you. So, I mean, that 6 to 8 months was pivotal, because even if it's not like years of doing it, I mean, painting in and of itself, I'm not going to say it's simple, but it's not overly perplexed and complicated. You know what I'm saying? As far as you prep properly and you go about doing it properly, you get the right rollers if you're using rollers and stuff. Well, I personally use rollers, but
I mean,
makes the job easier for me.
I would say, I'm not going to say, just like you said, it's not simple and it might not be over complex, but it's just like any other craft, skill, or art or something like that, where you have to do certain procedures, and I learned those procedures in that 6 to 8 months, because I'm doing it Monday through Friday constantly through doing it. And then you learn more as you get your contractor's license, because you have to read 500-page books, about 3 of them, just to understand it properly. I mean, you could probably go out there, if you've been doing it long enough and conversing with a few people here or there. So that was another thing that helped me, was Facebook, being in Facebook groups.
Yeah.
Other people that's been doing it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. You just read what they saying sometimes. Oh, you gotta make sure you do this. You gotta make sure you do this. So that's what helped boost the learning thing, because I see them say something and then be like, I'm just gonna try it. And then I try it and be like, hey, is it, you know what I'm saying? Let me do it a few more times and I got it down pat.
Okay.
So that was, I just specialize in interior and cabinets.
Okay, got you.
I do deck staining and concrete painting too, but I'm more into the intricate work, kind of.
Yeah,
like the fine finishes.
Yeah, I like. So me personally, because I painted pretty much everything in my house for the most part. Like I painted my hallways because when I first got the house, it was like downstairs, the hallways, this upper hallway, it was all like canary yellow. Disgusting. In my opinion, disgusting. Yeah. I didn't like it. I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go with I think it was varnished ivory, so it's kind of like an off-white color.
Yeah.
So I just painted that, throughout the whole area. I painted this room. I just went ahead and painted the ceiling too, just because it was there, and I was like, you know what, might as well. So like when the light comes through here, it's just like bright as hell, man, because it's bouncing off everything. But
yeah, I mean it's clean.
That's what blinds for. Yeah, I mean I just like that aesthetic. I just like plain white. You know what I'm saying? Because it's pure. You can add pops of color to it very easily. You can make it stand out that much more, in my opinion. So, but yeah, man, I did a little something fancy in my garage. And I didn't have the perfect setup for it, in my opinion, but I did a stripe all the way around the garage. So it's a black stripe around the garage, and then the bottom. So from the bottom down, the stripe is like a dark gray, and then the stripe is black. And then the side walls above the black stripe is white, and then the back wall above the black stripe is red. I'll show you after the interview, but
all right.
I didn't have, because like normally the easiest way to do it obviously would be to have a level in the middle of the floor, the laser level, and have it go around, and then you mark your line and stuff like that, and then paint up to the line, and then do whatever. But I didn't have that, so what I did was I got a little chalk liner or whatever.
Okay, one the string where you just attach it, then just flick it right quick.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. And I just did that, boom, boom, and then went around. And the reason why I'm explaining all this is because I wanted to kind of segue that into the next question I had was, when you're doing painting and stuff like that, do you have requests like that from clients that are like, hey, I want to do something fancy with the paint job. I want to have a stripe. I want to have some type of design in the paint. Do you have anything like that?
I usually get people that want to cover that up to an extent. So, usually I come in, as of right now, I've been doing a lot of simple custom paintings. I would say probably the most intricate I've done, besides like cabinets, just plain interior, is the crevices of the panels of the doors. I've painted those a color before.
The crevices of the panels of the door. So
like
the okay, so like the actual door panel, like on the door.
Well, like so you see how it's the panel and then it dips in.
Yeah,
that part.
Oh, the part that dips in.
Yeah, the part that dips in. So sometimes I've had customers sit there and be like, they want that the same color as the wall.
Okay.
So it's like a little bit of an accent going on with the door.
Okay.
I don't really get too many things like that.
I mean, so mostly people are just trying to like probably sell a house or rent a house, and they're trying to just get a fresh start or clean slate.
Yeah, but I wouldn't mind doing something like that because I look at stuff like that and be like, oh, I got some techniques and some tricks that I like to try out to get that crisp line. I know you've seen stuff where like you put tape down and there's still like a little bit of a bleed through, or like it looks jagged or something like that. Yeah, I know a few techniques. I ain't gonna give them out on camera, but I know I know a few techniques. Okay.
Yeah, we can talk off camera about that. Cause I'm gonna show you, and then I feel like I did a pretty good job. There's very few parts where it's like leaked like that, and I tried to just go over with like a little fine brush and just like kind of just fix it. But, yeah, I think it came out pretty decent though. I ain't mad at it. I gotta go back over the ceiling though, because I guess the mud job was bad in the ceiling. So I guess it's just like in the middle, it's kind of like crumpled a little bit in a certain spot, and you can see where like the tape is at and stuff like that. It's starting to fall off. So I'm like, all right, I gotta take all that shit out, retape it, remud it, and then sand it, and then paint it. And the garage is a pain in the ass. Low key, it was a mistake because like there was just so much sanding involved in finishing the garage. This is like, bruh, it's a lot of work.
See, that's another thing I think a lot of people don't understand, or not necessarily understand. They just don't know of the type of work that can go into it. So it's like, if you want to do yourself, more power to you. But the longer I've done it, the more I can say you want to hire a professional for certain stuff.
Absolutely.
So
that is one of them. Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not even, it's also the equipment that's needed for certain stuff. Like, who wants to sit there with a small little square sand sponge?
Right.
Then you got dust all up in the air. I use electric sander. I use a top of the line electric sander
with a shop vac attached to it.
Yeah, and and the shop vac I got is actually a top of the line shop vac that it has HEPA filters, which are hospital grade filters. So it's pretty much, it's catching all those fine particles, and you won't even know that is really too much there. So it keeps it dust free. You might get some dust if it's like drywall, mud and everything, joint compound, just because you can't catch everything because it's falling too at the same time. But as far as dust up in the air, you're not gonna have that.
Yeah. My garage was a mess.
Yeah.
There was dust all over the place, man. I was like, this is sick.
Yeah.
But it's all good, man. It's behind me now. It's a job. It's a job done, and I'm like, all right, my hands are wiped of it. I'm just gonna go back and finish up those small little details I gotta fix, and then I'm gonna be done with that. But yeah, man, that's dope though. So, I mean, when you're dealing with clients, and how do you really get your clientele? Like, where do they come from? Is it like social media, or is it word of mouth?
So when I very first started off, because how I very first originally got introduced to getting the idea of starting my business, the guy came to me and was telling me about a lead generating site. So pretty much what that is, it's pay for your lead. So pay for the opportunity to put a bid in on a job that you might not get. And you're getting charged like $50 for one of them, but it's not guaranteed that you're gonna get that one.
Oh wow, okay.
And so that's how I did that for maybe a year and a half. To me personally, I don't see the point in it. And then I took that down. And I went a little bit harder with the Facebook. I wouldn't say it's a bust with Facebook and Craigslist, but there's so much other stuff that you have to understand that really get out there if that's what you're trying to use as your sole promotion advertising, So as of recently, I've been going door to door to realtor, contractors, interior designers, just doing whatever I can to get so they can see my face,
right? Because
picking up the phone and calling, that doesn't work. They want to see your face, they want to get the vibe that you got and all that other stuff. So that's why I've been pressing up flyers and everything else, so I can give them something. They see my work, they see my base price guidelines and everything else.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense, and I like that you said that, because you have to, like you said, have the FaceTime for one, and then two, make those connections and be in the right places at the right time. Because when you're around people that pertain to your specific field of work, that's going to bring work to you. Because if you're working with realtors, you're working with people that are getting new houses that might not like the paint job in the house, or you're working with interior designers who might have clients that like, oh yeah, I want this room to be this color because I want it to go with my flooring or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So when you're putting yourself in positions like that, you're setting yourself up to get all kinds of deals. You know what I'm saying? So I like that you said that detail too. That's really dope.
So, and just like you said, it's about being at the right place at the right time, especially because there's been times I've gone into realtor offices and they'll be like, oh, you need to send this, that, or the third. The property manager is not in right now. And then there's other times I go in there and introduce myself to the secretary, and as I'm introducing myself, here comes the property manager. Oh, how you doing? And then we end up having a 10, 15, 20-minute conversation about certain stuff, and that's just even better with getting it in there. Then I might have been in business for 3 years, but that's something that I just learned. Getting out of that shell of, that protective shell of you might get rejected. Hey, you don't know if you don't try.
Absolutely.
And then when the more you start doing it, I mean, in all honesty, there's probably only been 2 or 3 places I went to and they was like, oh no, we can't accept this unless you're a part of this or a part of that. Oh, we're not accepting anything right now. But for the most part, they're taking them. Oh yeah, we're gonna put them up and see whatever,
Mm-hmm.
give them a little bit of personality, like tell them, hey, throw the other painters away. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? If you see any other painter car, just throw them into the trash for me. Put mine up there. Not no slight to anybody else, but
no, I got you. I mean, you gotta have confidence in your business and then your craft. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I don't think anybody fault you for that. Now let's talk about your name, Neptune Painting. Where did you come up with the name?
All right, so that wasn't the original name. The original name was OPI Painting.
OPI?
Yeah, so where that comes from is I used to do music. Mm-hmm. So it was an acronym. It was part of an acronym because my little label I was trying to start was Overly Powerful Influential Music. So that was what I was running with at the time.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to keep building to the brand. I'm just going to take the brand and run with it. I'm just going to OPI Painting, Overly Powerful Influential Painting, because that's the type of vibe I wanted to give people when they get their job done, that they sitting down looking at their living room and they just feel good about it.
Yeah.
So, and then I ended up getting a cease and desist email because there's a nail polish brand called OPI. I didn't know that. I'm a guy. I don't know stuff like that. I probably should have done a little bit more research with it, but I also was like, well, why would they send it to me? I'm just a little small business here, but they thought I was trying to use their name to generate traffic. So
I don't know how much validity that their cease and desist has, though, because OPI is very arbitrary in the sense that it could mean anything, and not to mention the fact that you had it with the addition of painting. So I don't know. That's interesting, but okay. Continue.
So I sat there and I was like, you know what? I just don't even want to, because that was my original thought process too. I was like, how are they going to tell me I'm stealing from them? But then I was like, you know what? Maybe I do need a new name. You start reflecting on stuff like that. So I was like, I started doing a little bit of research, and they was like, you want to seem more familiar to the people. You know what I'm saying? Something that they see and they already recognize and can they feel like is kind of like a representation of where they're at. So we're based in Virginia Beach. So Neptune City. They got the Neptune statue. Neptune Painting. I'm painting Virginia Beach. I might cover all of Hampton Roads too, but that's where we're based at. So that's the relatability at that point in time. So if most people, if they're born and raised here, they know Neptune. I mean, you go down to the beach and there's a big statue of Neptune, so it's a big representation of the city that I'm from and I operate in. So Neptune Painting, it took me a while to come up with a logo. At first I was going through the actual Neptune symbol. Man, I got a little bit of flack for that. Some people was telling me, man, it looked like an upside down cross. It looks like it looks like a gang symbol. It looks like this, that, and I was like, you know what? So I sat there for a little bit. And I just started messing with stuff, and I found a paintbrush, and I was like, you know what? I don't know what. It just clicked in my head because I didn't want something. When I did my logo, I didn't want, most people put houses on their logos when they do this type of work, construction work or just contracting work. And I was like, that's just going to be too
generic.
Yeah, generic, cliche. It's just going to blend in with everybody else's. So I seen a brush design that I liked, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to put a window here and a door here. And now the brush is the house, but it's still a brush. It's still a house. So it represents my brand, but it's not a paintbrush and a triangle and and a square underneath and all that other stuff is so when you look at it, it's literally a brush painting a house.
I got you.
So that was one of the things I went with, and I chose the color, the teal color, because it's a bright color. it kind of draws your attention. It has the blue that gets your attention, make you feel calm in it at the same time. So that was one of the things that I was thinking about all throughout the time.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. That's dope, man. So when it comes to clientele and convincing them to basically go with you opposed to somebody else, or just to give your work a chance, do you have like a portfolio set up where you like, these are some of the houses I've done, and you have like pictures and stuff like that? Like, how does that work?
As far as on hand, I don't. Not right now. That's why I made this flyer right here. I got my pictures on there right now. Just 5 pictures that represent of what I do. Okay. Pretty much, that's what I got right now. So when I go do an estimate, I give them this, and I give them my business card too, and then I explain it to them. Hey, you look on the back, I got my base pricing guide. I try not to go over the price that's here, but if they get enough, I might cut them a deal on, materials or whatever. It might be a material discount or just an actual labor discount if it's whatever makes sense to where both of us are winning.
Got you.
So that's what I try to do, and but I also don't let it compromise my work integrity.
Right.
So I try to, that's one thing I try to break down to them too. And if they want to see my work, I just kind of try to point them in the direction of my social medias, my website, and everything.
Okay, I got you. Now, when it comes to your team, how many people do you have on your team? Or are they employees? Are they business partners? Like,
for real, it's just me.
Okay, just you.
I do it by myself right now. Of course, if the job calls for it, I might be able to reach out and grab somebody else as like an independent worker,
like a sub or something like that. Yeah.
But just employees, I tried to do it before. It doesn't work out for me. Mostly because of volume. You need work volume to have employees.
Right.
So if you don't have that volume, you can't do it, and it would be just a waste of time. So anytime I did have somebody working with me, I would tell them, hey, don't let me stop you from finding something better, because this isn't going to be consistent work. And then also when you start learning the tax side of everything, you sit there and you're like, I gotta pay taxes twice for one person.
Right. And you got like healthcare and all that other stuff that you gotta take into account. Or I don't know how all of it works on the intricacies, because I haven't had employees, but I know there's some layers of complexity to it that I would rather not deal with.
Yeah, so. That's how I feel. I mean, of course I want to get to that point where I want to get to the point where I don't even have to step on the job, besides to make sure everything's going according to the operations should go. Right. So as long as the procedures are being followed, training people, going out, getting more work, taking whatever I need to do to take it to the next level, while also making sure employees are good and everything. That's where I'm trying to go. Yeah. To it. I want to be able to have 2 or 3 teams out on the field as I'm still going out networking, bringing everybody else up with me.
Okay, I got you. Makes sense. Yeah. What's your opinion on? Well, it doesn't matter the brand, I guess, because I mean, Bear is Home Depot, and I think Lowe's is Valspar. Yeah, whatever the brand is. What's your opinion on the primer and paint all-in-one, like marquee, top of the line one?
There's no such thing as it, for real.
Yeah, no, because I've painted with it before. I'm like, bro, I need more than one coat.
There's no.
It depends on the color that you're covering too.
Yeah, that has to do with just about anything. Like I personally prefer Sherman-Williams paint. Okay. So that's what I use. I mean, I'll use Bear or Valspar. If that's what the customer gets. I usually try to always get the paint, because I know what needs to go on there all the time. Right. But as far as the all-in-one, there's no such thing as a paint and primer, or primer and paint, however you want to say it, is because if it's drywall with no paint on there, like you said, you still gotta do 2 coats.
Yeah, because it's gonna absorb that. Like it's gonna eat that up.
Yeah, it's just a little bit thicker, thicker of a paint, so it might cover up a little bit more because you have to kind of, it's just thicker. So the mill coverage is thicker, but there's no way you can get absolute coverage with 1 coat. Yeah. It's just I don't care how long you sitting there going back and forth, you still gonna see a little.
You gonna see
speckles.
Your lines,
you gonna see stuff like that. You gonna see the color flashing through. Of course, if you going light gray to dark gray, you might can pass it because it's the same color technically. So, but as far as quality wise, they all got certain brands within their brand that are top of the line. But Sherwin-Williams is just top of the line almost all the time. Of course, they have their lower, but it's just a better consistency throughout their lines. It's not like if I get a cheap paint from Sherwin-Williams, it's going to tack up on me as I'm doing a cutting. So as soon as I go back, it starts lifting the paint. So it's, you know, the malleability of it and everything. I don't even know if that was a real word I just said.
Malleability, yeah.
Yeah, so you know how malleable it is. That's kind of what I base it on.
Okay. I got you. That makes sense. Now, when it comes to painting, there's a lot of different products. A lot of things are advertised as premium quality, top of the line. You got like frog tape where it's like, oh yeah, you won't have any bleeding at all, blah blah. And a third, is there any merit behind those sayings with like frog tape or compared to regular painter's tape?
Well, actually, with frog tape, there is. It really but there's what you're supposed to do to really get it down. Now, I mean, you can take any type of tape, put it down, and if you sit there and rub your finger along the edge of it just good to get that seal down, you're going to get a good seal. But with frog tape, it's not as meticulous. So you could sit there, you could put it down and take a damp rag and run it over like a warm rag, and that pretty much reactivates the adhesion. So it really seals it down.
Okay.
It is a better quality. You know the saying, you pay for what you get. 1 roll is $6, so it's gonna be better than a $1 normal painter's tape.
Right.
But it is a better quality. But I also think a lot of that stuff has to do with the user.
Yeah.
So it's just like the paint conversation. You know, if you're a good painter, you can use anything. So it's you know, just a user type of thing, really.
Okay.
I use the blue frog tape because they got blue frog tape now.
Okay.
So that's what I use.
I think I used the yellow one before. I don't know if they still have it or not.
The yellow is more for fine finishes. So if I'm putting it on top of trim, that's what you want to use. So you don't pull it up and it rips.
I've had that happen before, bruh. I had that shit happen in my baseboard before. It wasn't like crazy paint, but I took it off and it took some paint off with it from the baseboard. I was like, damn, I got to touch that up now. You know what I'm saying? It's just.
But see, now with something like that, sometimes that has to do with it's either
I left it up there for a while though.
The prep wasn't right on there, or it wasn't cured all the way. So for a proper cure, now most people aren't going to wait 30 days before they put some tape down and everything else. So that's like a real proper cure time when it's actually dried all the way through. Is a lot of paints are 30 days. But 9 times out of 10, if you do it like 24 hours later, it's mostly improper prep or latex on top of oil paint. So because water doesn't mix with oil.
Right.
So even if it's paint, once again, it's all about the prep too. So if you sand it good enough and whatever, you might can get away with it, but it's really best to prime over top of a change in paint.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, because then you'll get that pull up, it rips up, you're screwed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I got you. Okay, that's dope, man. Yeah, because you always hear all these products and stuff, and some of them are worth it, some of them not so much. Do you use I don't want you to give out any secrets if this is bordering or teetering that line, but like I used to use like those little square panels that you use, and you can attach it to a pole, or you can attach it to a roller pole or something like that, and you basically take it along the edges and stuff like that.
I know what you're talking. Is a square pad, like it's got like
Yep.
the fiber fingers that you can just
dip it in the paint, and you can use that.
All honestly, to me, that's more of a DIY at home type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I used to use them when I was a kid or whatever, and looking back, it was like it doesn't really work as well as getting up there with a nice purdy brush and getting the perfect cut in where you can just let the bristle just slide into the crevice and you go across and you get a nice straight line.
Yeah.
Where like I said, from what my memory of the past were, of course, I'm 28 now, so I was probably younger than not even a teenager yet the last time I used one. So of course technology might have gotten better, but it just kind of slid the paint.
Yeah.
It didn't really attach the paint. It just kind of slid the paint where you could still see too much of the underlying color.
Yeah, when I used it, it was kind of trash, but
yeah,
that was a long time ago when I used it too. I haven't used it in a long time. Now, like for corners and stuff, I have this brush, and the brush is actually cut, like the bristles are cut
at
like
an angle,
like a triangle kind of almost.
Okay.
And you can run that down, but my issue with that is when you're running it down, the paint will pull up and it'll drip.
Okay.
Like from the top down, like a pull up and drip down, and then you got drippage falling down. Or I think honestly, I don't know if I was doing it right or not. Maybe you got to go up and have the bristles facing up with the triangle. That way it doesn't drip downwards. But
that kind of comes with. So one of the things that you should do is you don't want to go directly to where you're trying to go. You kind of want to guide the paint to get any excess paint off, because you're not really supposed to dry brush. That's what we call it. You're not supposed to dry brush. That's where you dip and then take the paint right off. So you kind of dip it, shake any loose paint off, and then you go into it.
Okay, gotcha.
So that's how you get. So you might have some paint. So you might have some paint built up where you started off at, but your brush isn't as heavy with paint. So then you can drag it maybe 6, 8, 12 inches, and then go back and grab that glob of paint that you just did and bring it out some, so you can then roll into it without bumping into ceilings, corners that you're not trying to hit, or stuff like that.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, and I personally have had issues when it comes to trying to blend the corners with the wall, because sometimes you might do too much paint in the corners, and you could tell because the paint is like darker in the corner than it is on the walls next to it and stuff like that.
Well, that's that's just comes with sometimes it even happens to me, but 2 coats, that's kind of helps it go out, or just making sure you making it level, making your brush level. Now there's some tips where you might take a small little roller, and run with your cutting line, with your brush line. That kind of evens out the paint, and it also gives you less texture change from when you go to roll the wall. Another thing that might cause that is if you're doing too much cutting in before you roll.
I got you.
So the paint starts to settle. So as you're rolling, you're really just adding another coat of paint on top of what you just did. So that's another thing I think people overlook when it comes to painting, is you have to have speed.
Yeah.
So it's like, you might can cut this wall, you might be able to cut in, but if you're going real slow with it, if it takes you 30 minutes to do this wall right here, that's not a big wall, but if it takes you 30 minutes just to cut it in, it's already setting. It's already set. Latex paints don't take too long. the dry. You know, that's kind of the era that we're in now, where paint dries quicker. It might be dry to the touch in 15 minutes now.
Yeah.
So speed is one thing that I think a lot of people overlook.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense, man. Well, all right, man. I think we covered quite a bit, man. So do you have anything you want to add on a concluding note?
Just, you know, we get free estimates. NeptunePainting.com, 757-288-2040. Let's brighten up your life.
Okay. Yeah, I was just about to ask you, like, if people could, like, get in contact with you, or, like, social media or like stuff like that.
Social media, Neptune Painting on Facebook, Instagram.
Okay.
And that's where you can find me at, paintingneptune@gmail.com. If you would rather send me an email, you can call me. I get free estimates. I'm, like I said, all of Hampton Roads I travel to.
Okay. Awesome. Well, all right, Tim, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for, like I said, giving me the opportunity. Thanks for coming up here and talk about your business, Neptune Painting, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I wish you the best in your ventures, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Keep doing what you're doing, and keep brightening lives, man. Keep, you know, one house at a time.
One house at a time. One house at a time, man. I appreciate you having me up here.
Absolutely. All right, brother. Appreciate you.
All right.